Hey guys, so I had a package arrive today from Summit Racing, and it's something I'm going to be replacing on the truck today. It's a kind of covered up there. It's a Derale deep transmission pan, and it adds up. Apparently, it adds up to 7 quarts of transmission fluid. And it's got these built-in heat tubes that run lengthways through the whole pan, and those allow air to actually pass through them and to cool the fluid inside the transmission pan while the vehicle is moving. So it'll basically, air can go through these tubes that run the entire length of the pan, and here's a picture of it here. And there's actually little kind of spirals that they got going in here, like an auger, that go in there to help with the air circulation within the pan, so it helps cool the fluid as you move. So I figured this would really help with the truck, because I do an awful lot of towing with the truck, and I've talked to a lot of guys on Ford forums and on YouTube, and a lot of them run the deep transmission pans, not necessarily the Derale, but the there's other pans as well, mostly for like, I know a lot of the diesel guys run those pans just for the extra heat dissipation and that, for when they tune the motors and that. It generally puts more stress on the transmission and that, and as well as towing applications too. And I figured I'd put one on my truck because, I mean, I do a lot of towing with it, and I want to try my best to keep the transmission temperature down to increase the life expectancy of my transmission. It's got a 4R100 transmission in my truck, and this one is apparently compatible with the E4OD, 4R100, 5R110, and 5R110W transmissions. And I've actually already unboxed this thing and started to put it together. I just got back from the auto store getting ATF Mercon 5 fluid. It's got a, what this here is, I've researched this pan quite a bit actually before I ordered it, so I know quite a bit about this, but this bracket here is to, it's a bracket for the filter, and it basically just increases the height difference depending on what transmission your truck has. It came with this instruction thing here too, this instruction pamphlet, and it just goes over what position the filter will go in depending on your transmission. For the 4R100 transmission and the E4OD transmission, it'll be in the upper position. So that's my truck. Mine has the 4R100, so mine will be going in the upper position. If you have a 5R110, it'll go in the lower position, right down there. And then if you have the 5R110W 5-speed transmission, you actually take that entire mounting bracket out and just run the filter. And this is the filter I bought here. It's just a generic brand one. I've been using these for quite a while with my other truck as well as this one, and I've had no issues with these, so I'll just go with that. And then it also came with a new gasket here as well. I probably won't be using this because the 4R100 transmission, it has a reusable gasket on it from the manufacturer that I believe it has a rubber within these holes, and I think it's actually a metal gasket as well, and it's a reusable one, and quite a few guys like those, so I'll probably try and reuse that if I can. But yeah, it's a heavy-duty pan. It's steel. It's steel, and I think it's zinc-coated or something. Can't quite remember. It's a black finish to it anyways. I don't know if that would be a powder coat or a zinc type of deal, but it has Derale cooling products stamped on the bottom. And then this is the drain plug here. I just started to put this in. I put some Teflon tape on the threads, and it's got a rubber grommeted washer on it, and it's actually got an earth magnet built right on the tip of it to catch any metal shavings that can form in the transmission as it's going. And I'll probably be taking the magnet that's currently in my existing factory pan, and I'll probably put that somewhere in here. Just so there's a bigger magnet in this one, because I won't be needing it in the old pan if I take it out anyways. And then it's got a temperature port plug that goes right here. Again, I've Teflon taped that. It looks like an Allen head of some kind. I'm just about to tighten that now. And if any of you guys want to put like a temperature sensor in the pan itself, that allows you to do that. My temperature sensor is, or sensor I should say, is actually up on the transmission itself. It's not on the pan. And I might show you guys where I mounted mine once I get under the truck doing this. But and these are the, I guess while I have the pan here, these are the heat tubes. And these actually run the entire length of the pan. See if I can get this to focus. You can actually see the light coming out at the end of that tube from the window. These tubes, I don't know how well you can see that. I'm trying to get the light to focus here. But you can actually see the, you kind of see that one. You can actually see the light come through those tubes, and these actually run the entire length of the pan. And what this does is, the pan itself is deeper than a factory pan, so you get more airflow through it, and then the air will go through these tubes, and it will actually cool the fluid while you're driving. And see, these are the tubes here that run all the way through from those holes. So that helps a lot, apparently, from what I hear with cooling. So I'll go ahead and I'll get the stuff ready here, and I'll meet you guys out by the truck. Okay, so I got all my tools laid out here. I'm outside here underneath the truck. I got my oil pan ready. There's the plug. This focuses, there we go. That's the plug for the stock transmission pan. I'm just about to let the fluid out of it. And this bolt here is a 13mm. And I'm just about to get my ratchet on this and take this out here. See how much resistance this might have. Oh, it's coming pretty easy actually. Changing transmission fluid is always a very dirty job. I've done this a couple of times and this fluid just tends to get everywhere, so hopefully, I'm hoping my pan is big enough. That's my only real concern right now. I'll be able to start this by hand. Or get this off by hand. I got gloves on, but still, even if you're wearing gloves, this tends to be just a nasty, nasty type of job because this fluid just gets everywhere. Okay, she's coming out now. Okay, there we go. Okay. That wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. Let's let that fluid gush out of there now. Yeah, she's a-coming. If I need to, I can jack the front end of the truck up, and it'll if there's any fluid buildup that might be in like the front of the pan, and I really need it to start coming out there, I can always jack the front of the truck up, and the tilt should help it flow out a little bit easier too. But I'm just gonna let that drip for now. And I don't want to get ATF all over my camera here, so I'm gonna shut this off here and I'll be right back, guys. So while my pan is dripping, I'm gonna show you guys the fluid I'm using today. I'm just using the recommended stuff, Mercon 5 for Ford transmissions. I honestly wasn't 100% sure how much to get, so I tried to shoot a little bit higher than what I figured I'd need just in case, because this new pan I'm putting in does hold additional quarts. But I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal having too much fluid because I can always use this stuff for future use. But yeah, I picked up I think 10 quarts of that, and then I also picked up 2 additional Mercon 5s, 2 additional quarts, so 12 total. And then I've also got another quart in the truck, in the back seat I've got, so, what's that, 13 quarts, so that I'm hoping that should be enough. Hopefully I won't need all of it, but you never know. And then I got some of this stuff here, spray gasket. This stuff here will just help hold the gasket in place on the new pan when I lift it up there, so it'll hold the gasket in place for when I bolt the new pan up. And then yeah, for cleaning the ATF off of the mating surface on the transmission, I'm just going to be using some brake clean, which I've got over here. Some brake clean here should help get the ATF off of the mating surface on the transmission. Then I've got the new pan here. And yeah, I got the filter up here that'll be going in, some funnels for when I put the new ATF in. And yeah, so I'll get back to you guys here once we start moving along. Okay guys, so I've gone ahead and I took all the bolts off the existing factory pan, and I took all the bolts out and I drained the fluid out, what was left of it, and I got the old filter out. It's just a press fit in these transmissions. There's no bolts or anything that hold it in. It just kind of pushed in there with a rubber O-ring, and it's kind of just seated in there like that. And I'm just about to pull the old pan out and the old filter out, and my drain pan here, or oil catch pan. Move this in such a way that I don't spill any. It was a pretty clean procedure for the most part, all considering. I mean, this is a dirty job, but do it as clean as possible. So there's the old filter on the top here, this black thing. It's the old filter. That's that rubber O-ring I mentioned. And here's the old pan. And here's my catch pan down there for all the fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and reuse this gasket if I can. I'll clean it up some. And I'll pour this fluid. I've got some empty milk containers over there that I'm going to pour the old fluid into. And yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I've drained the the oil out of the old pan, and I cleaned up the magnets some. I put the magnets from that pan. There's one there, looks like a donut there, and then there's that long magnet strip that also came out of that pan. I put that in the bottom of this pan, and this one here I kind of mounted underneath the little holder for the filter. And that plug bolt, or drain bolt, I mean, also has a magnet on the tip of it as well to catch any metal shavings in that. I've gone ahead and I've cleaned up the old gasket off of the old pan. I cleaned it up some, and then I put some RTV high temperature gasket sealer around it. And I tell you, I've worked with this stuff a lot, and it's by far the messiest crap I've ever dealt with my whole life when it comes to like automotive stuff. Like this one was no exception. As you can see, paper towel and this garbage full of this crap. I had the tube explode on me, and it got all over me. And in hindsight, I should just get myself like one of those pumps you can use, like a grease pump that can go into a big tube of the gasket, and that would probably save me a lot of headache and a lot of grief, getting that crap all over me every time I use it. Like, I just buy the little tubes of that stuff, and almost every time, this time included, it never ceases to get all over me, and it's a pain to get off. I hate this stuff. But anyways, that aside, I got this on there. I'm just about to clean this up a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and commence to bolt this up there, so I'll see you guys then. Okay guys, so I went ahead and I bolted the new pan on there, and as well as put the new filter in. Crawl under here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So this is the new pan that's in there. And I got all the bolts in. Bolts go all the way around the pan. And yeah, I tell you, it was it's a bit of a pain to get to get those bolts through the gasket and the pan hole, and then lined up with the holes, the threaded holes in the transmission. And I got my Y pipe like right here, and you kind of have to angle the pan up and through the pipe first before you get the other end on, or else it won't go in. So oh yeah, it takes some finesse, that's for sure. A little frustrating getting it in there, but I got it in. And yeah, I got all the bolts tightened. The drain plug bolt is where am I now? Drain plug hole is tight, as well as the little sender port there. And while I'm under here, I can show you guys where I mounted my transmission temperature sensor while I'm under here. The 4R100 actually has a port for one right here, and that's my sender right there. These are the wires coming out of it to my gauge, and it's right behind the bell housing. It's right here. There's a threaded hole which will have a plug in it, like a bolt plug, right in there that you can take out, and then it's eighth inch thread, if I remember right. And this is your shifter indicator, or your shift. I can't think of the right word right now, but your shifting mechanism right here, which goes up to your shifter on the column, and it's right in front of that. It's right in front of this bolt here, the second bolt on the driver's side of the pan, and that's where you can put a sender in if you ever want to put a sender in. But anyways, I got the pan in, and I'm just about to put some transmission fluid in. I've already gone ahead and I've put 2 quarts in, and I got my funnel there and a paper towel just to catch any residue. And I've already put 2 quarts in. This is the old fluid in these jugs here from when the previous pan had come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to fill that up with ATF here, and I'll be back in a bit. Okay guys, so I finished up, I put a bit of more ATF in there, and I let it run for probably a good 10 minutes. Shifted through all the gears and that with the shifter and all that, and I'll just let it run for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, just to let the fluid warm up and circulate a little bit, and tested the dipstick, and it seems to be at the correct level. I think I only had to put, I want to say 6 quarts of Mercon 5 fluid in. If I need to increase it, I can. I mean, I bought like 13 of those, so I mean, I have more. The reason I bought so much was just in case I needed to add some, and I also plan on changing out my transfer case fluid in the near future too, and it takes Mercon 5 fluid as well, so I can still use that fluid, so nothing, not bad to have extra. But anyway, it was more or less a pretty straightforward procedure. It's a little difficult because without a hoist or whatever, but like to get under the truck and everything, and it's a pretty big pan. It's a deep pan, so it's considerably larger than the other pan. Like, I can give you a look here. Like, this is the old pan I took out. Sit here, so you can see it's not really that that deep. I cleaned it up a little bit, but this is the factory one. You can see it's not near as deep, and I'll show you the Derale I just put in. And that's the Derale in there. Like, that's twice as deep. And it's not hanging too much down, so I shouldn't scrape it on nothing. I don't go off-roading or anything anyways. Through a couple fields from time to time, just doing work and stuff like that, but nothing nothing crazy. I don't go over rocks or nothing with this, so I mean, I'm not worried about it. I won't catch on speed bumps or nothing either, so, or curbs or anything like that. But yeah, I cleaned up this the best I could. I spilled a little bit of ATF there. I'm telling you, hornets are probably attracted to the smell of ATF, because I kid you not, while I was pouring the fluid into the filler tube there, I kid you not, I had about 5, maybe 6 hornets coming after me when I was pouring this stuff in, and they must have been attracted to the scent of it or something, but I killed about 5 or 6 of them. And yeah, they've hence stopped, because I've stopped pouring the fluid, so I'm assuming they must be attracted to the smell. So if you're allergic to hornets, then be careful doing this, because I think it attracts them. But anywho, just cleaning up my stuff now. I'll take a video as well of a review of this Derale deep transmission pan. Once I take this thing for a drive and do any long-term driving or anything with it, I'll be monitoring the fluid, or the fluid and the temperature. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. So yeah, I'll let you guys know what I think in a future video of what I think of that Derale deep transmission pan. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and be uploading some more stuff here right away here. So if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Alright, see you guys.